G'day fellas, and welcome to game number 3 of the Outback Octagon. With me this evening is Don Artie. Don, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate, thanks.
That is great to hear. Well, Don, we got quite the game for you today because we've got a very open map, only a single pond in the center, a lot of deep sea fish in there as well. We're going to go around the map and take a look at all the players because we've got an absolutely stacked lobby today. So, spawning up towards our, I guess we'd call this at our 2 o'clock at the moment, we've got Marine Lord in the color blue playing as the Rus. Next up, we've got Lash down towards the south side, who is going to be playing as the French. He's going to be at your 6 o'clock. Next up, it is Snooper towards your 10 o'clock position. We do see that he is going to be playing as the Chinese in the orange color. Next up, DeMusliM down towards the, what is that, about the 8 o'clock position in the English, in the color yellow, a civilization that he absolutely loves as well. Casper down on that 6 o'clock axis as well. We've got him playing as the Rus in teal. And then Dinky King over towards the west side, playing as the Chinese. We can see there was an initial town center that was dropped down by our pink player that is right next to him. That race quickly was over because obviously China builds their landmark a little bit faster, or their buildings a little bit faster. Towards the north, also playing the Chinese, we've got Sort of in the color red. And then finally, playing in the color pink, as the Holy Roman Empire, we have got Bruh, but there's, wait, there's one more. No, there's not. Never mind. I got Casper. I thought I missed him. But Don, let's talk about the civs today. I mean, we have got 3 Chinese civs in this free-for-all. China, considered by many to be the best free-for-all civilization. Is there going to be a China victory today?
I don't think so. I'm gonna go with Marine Lord all the way.
You're gonna go with Marine Lord all the way. Well, he's got a great spawn over towards the east of the map. There's nobody else over there next to him. Playing as the Rus, it means in the late game he's going to have access to those palisade walls that are fortified. Obviously doesn't get the stone walls, so it's going to be a bit more difficult but I mean, he's got so much space though, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think the south is like somewhat locked off for him as well. It looks like a beautiful spawn.
Oh, you might be right. Yeah, I think there might be a little bit of a way that he can get through there on the shoreline. But other than that,
it's really close.
Yeah, and I think there also will be a way up towards that top side. He might be able to chop through there, but yeah, that's a beautiful spawn for him. Well, we're probably going to be having some early fights, I do suspect. We've had a whole bunch of people that have spawned in over on this northwestern flank. So we've got Sort of, who's started out as the Chinese up towards the northmost part, and then also playing as the Chinese at Snooper, who is right next to him. But then underneath that, we've got our Holy Roman Empire player, Bruh. And then finally, our third Chinese player, Dinky King. So all 3 Chinese players spawning in along that edge. So I suspect that we're probably going to see quite a fair bit of action out of that. But I guess it's important to remember that we've also got Casper and Lash, who are basically right next to each other.
And I just interrupt you real quick because I saw something funny happen. Bruh tried to scout for a gold mine with a villager, and look at the dead villager below Snoopa's TC. he tanked two shots to the face.
It is a painful outcome when you're scouting with villagers, isn't it? Yeah, the Chinese town center, it's notorious for its strength, but yeah, wow. I'm looking forward to seeing how this game goes. Obviously, China definitely comes into this being as a favorite, but at the same time, I suspect that, I mean, normally you would expect people that would gang up on the Chinese player. Here, there's 3 of them, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, but they have spawned all very close to each other, so we might even see some Chinese alliances coming out.
Yeah, I'm really curious what these guys are gonna do playing so close to each other, because it's like, if you don't play together, then you're just gonna end up destroying each other, probably.
I'm taking a look
I really enjoy, by the way, when you look at the mini-map and just this resource spawn in the middle.
Yeah,
it's
a giant clump, isn't it? How many gold mines have we got here? We've got 1, 2, 3 large gold mines. 4 large gold mines, and then a whole bunch of small ones, a whole bunch of stone, some sacred sites thrown in the mix as well. How many sacred sites have we got on this map? We've got 1, 2 central sacred sites. Is that it? Is there only 2 sacred sites?
No, there's another one just above the water.
Oh, there is 2.
It's so hard to see everything on the minimap, but everything is in the middle.
Yeah, really good point. Well, I want to take a look at the French perspective. I think that was Lash down to the south, because he should be able to see the trading posts. And interestingly, you can see that all the trading posts are located around that central location, all towards the middle. We've got the coastal trading posts as well as those neutral trading posts on land.
Yeah, and we've seen in earlier games that having access to the trading post is massive with being able to trade. So I think if you manage to control the middle in this game, you're gonna be in a great spot.
Marine Lord now looking to take some early water as well. Now, he's the only one that's really close by to this central position. He's continuing to take out multiple hunts as well. We see his bounty starting to climb. He's up to 150. He'll be up to 160, 170 shortly. But he's in such a great spot over there all by himself. I think he's going to be really happy with the way this has spawned out for him.
Yeah, I like his position the most, for sure.
Yeah. Well,
and Roos' water boom is so nice as well.
Yeah, oh, that's a great point. Well, yeah, we've got the, we do have, thank you very much, Lidicor in the chat spamming. The timeline was visible. I fixed that one up. It's timeline no longer visible. Yeah, I mean, it's such a great civilization of water boom on, and this is something that not a lot of people realize, is that with the Rus, your fishing boats are made much faster than other civilizations based on how much they actually collect. So I think it works out to be about 1.3. For every fishing boat your enemy makes, you can make 1.3. We got ourselves a Barbican race. Oh my god, take a look at that. Up towards the north, we've got Snooper, who is trying to Barbican rush over on Sort of. Sort of now going to be responding with his own Barbican. We've got a double Barbican off right here on this north side. Snooper going to be able to get it up. We see those 6 villagers managing to be able to walk away, but now that Barbican going to begin firing down on the villagers below it. But we do see that Sort of has managed to get up the Barbican. He's going to be safe from this position. Imperial Official going to be backing away, but Sort of now in a very difficult position. Don, how does he defend this? What does he do from here?
I think you just have to evacuate towards the north, get the gold mine over there, if you scouted it.
Imperial Official doing what it does best. Suicidal Imperial Official loses her life or his life. That is classic Imperial Official. If that, yep. Those things are so suicidal. They just love to do that stuff. So that is 150 resources down the drain right there.
I love how Snoopa just walks home like, yeah, it wasn't me. I have never been there.
And we've got a second Barbican that has come up on the south side. A little bit more fortunate for Bra and his positioning, though. The Barbican obviously going to be able to provide great coverage here for Dinky King. The problem for Bra is on the south side of his town center. Towards the north, though, it is quite open, with the exception of the fact that, well, he's got another Chinese player up towards that angle as well.
I think the problem for Bra is he doesn't know how to get gold. Like, he already has 1k food, but, like, where is he gonna get gold from?
Yeah, we can see he's got a scout in the middle of the map right now that is calling out. He's gonna begin moving 3 villages, but straight away we see Snooper. He's got the weapon out, the fire lance out right now. Villagers turning their attention towards it, but already we're starting to see some early action here. Down towards the south, though, we've got some walls that are going to be coming up for Lash, so he's looking to play a little bit more defensive, keep himself nice and safe. And at the same time, DeMusliM very happy over towards that western side. Nothing really happening over there for him.
Yeah, I like the Muslim spot as well. If you can just chill out with the English, you know, you have the infinite gold late game, so you don't mind taking it late. I think he's in a good spot as well.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that. He's got plenty of wood down there as well. It looks like he's got about the equivalent of about every single tree that spawns on Hill and Dale he's got in his base. So he's going to be pretty happy with that. But Abbey of Kings is going to be coming up for him. So it is going to be a meme game today. He's going for the Abbey of Kings. That is an exciting landmark to see. I suspect we might have a bit of a fast castle, maybe even a fast Imperial out of him. We actually did see a fast Imperial coming out from Lee Knock yesterday, but he did get knocked out very shortly after.
I really love this lumber camp from DeMusliM. Just I think he might as well use the TC. And once he cuts to these trees, he's not all of a sudden going to find some salami in there, so that's good for him.
Yeah, that's another thing that you've got to worry about. I guess today we don't actually have any Mongols in our game, so that sort of salami-esque play that we did see coming out yesterday, not going to be repeated here. But we do have a second town center now coming down for Dinky King. Up towards the north, Bra is still in trouble. Actually, I take that back. That is still in trouble. He's slowly but steadily dealing with this issue that he's got, but that Barbican just providing so much coverage there against any of the enemy units. And interesting that he came in from that angle as well. So didn't come in over from the west side, came in and sort of walked in on towards that position and manages to isolate the gold.
Oh man, and look at Snoopa just making this Zook new. your favorite unit.
My favorite unit, indeed, yes. I love this unit, and it's very smart by Snooper to be going straight into this. I suspect Snooper might be looking to go for a bit of a ram rush. We'll take a look from his perspective and see exactly what he sees, and indeed, we do see that siege engineering coming in. His Barbican is under attack, and he's moving that scout up towards the north. He's looking to try and scout out exactly what his enemy is up to. DeMusliM now reaches the feudal age. It is that Abbey of Kings that is going to be there. So now everyone, with the exception of Bra, is into the feudal age. We can see he is rushing up that Archon Chapel. So he doesn't have it nice and safe behind that town center. But yeah, things not looking good at the moment for a number of players. And I suspect if I was a betting man, and I am, I would be betting on sort of probably going to be tapping out shortly.
Yeah, I think Snoop is gonna ram rush his ass.
Yeah, he's going to take him to the ranch, that is for sure. And there's a lot of True Canoe out right now. And keep in mind, obviously, Snooper, he's playing as the Chinese. He's going up against the Chinese. I don't even think Sort of hasn't even dropped down his second landmark yet. In fact, Sort of is looking to secure up a position against Marine Lord. So it's almost like he's just sort of written off the fact that that Snooper is a threat. We'll take a look from Sort of's position, though, and just, yeah, he's not even scouting out Snooper. He's got no clue what's going on right now. He thinks that this Barbican was just a once-off and that there's going to be no further aggression, I suspect.
It did look like that for a while because Snooper just built a Barbican and he pieced out. But then, yeah, I wasn't expecting the ram rush behind it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's very nice of him to wall in for Marine Lord, but Marine Lord's now going to be adding in a second town center as well. We see Marine Lord, actually, I take that back, that's a third town center now for Marine Lord coming in. He is going very heavy on the economy.
Oh, wow.
But,
with the fishing eco as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. He's got the fishing eco there. So, I mean, you sort of picked it up a little bit earlier. You said Marine Lord's spawn was very good, and it looks like he's going to be in a great position. By the time the mid-game comes around, I suspect we're going to see him hit Imperial quite quickly, and then begin to look to take out the Chinese threat over towards the west of the map. But now those rams are going to begin coming in. We will actually... Oh my lord, look what we've got down towards the west side of the map. We've got DeMusliM, who is doing a forward white tower against Dinky King on the Chinese. So Dinky King puts his Barbican on Bra's town center, and then DeMusliM comes in and he says, hey, have a little bit of a taste of your own medicine, Chinese player. Get out of here. Very, very cheeky.
I'm so surprised. I was sure that the Muslim was just going to chill in base and try to go Imperial or something.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that case. I guess he realizes that China's obviously a big threat right next to him, so anything he can do to sort of put on that pressure, it's going to help him out a huge amount. But speaking of pressure...
Sort of is dying.
Yeah, like, I don't think there's any way Sort of survives this. He's got nothing to deal with this right now. He was focused on getting a second town center up. In fact, he did get that second town center up. But my concern is that there's no... Where are his landmarks? Because he's only got those two landmarks. He still doesn't have that Imperial Academy down. He's got enough resources for it. He was trying to go castle. So he could drop down that Imperial Academy and save himself a little bit longer. But that's going to be the first landmark that is going down. There's 3 rams under that town center. I don't think there's any way he survives from here.
He's got to drop a landmark and then hope that Snooper doesn't finish him off.
All right. Well, we'll take a look at how Bra is doing. Because he is under pressure as well. He's actually dropped down a market. He's made it all the way up to age 3 with the Regnitz Cathedral. So he's going to be looking to bring in those relics. We'll take a look and see. He does have a relic coming in on the way. But back towards the north, the next landmark is going to be getting focused down. So Snooper going to be securing up this northern position with a fair amount of aggression in the early stage. We do see the astronomical clock tower now coming up for Sort of. This could be his hold, and we can see Snooper moving in towards it. Wallalol comes down over towards the south. It looks like it's just going to be a couple of the scouts that come in. Villagers are going to get spotted out. The astronomical clock tower is going up, but at the same time, the Barbican is going down. This could be bad right now, but I think Sort of is going to be able to get up to the castle age, which keeps him alive for a little bit longer. And this might be able to buy him time as well. Keep in mind, now that he's in the castle age, he might be able to get out one of those really important nest bees. The question is, Don, is he going to be able to afford it?
No, he's barely not going to be able to afford it. And if that landmark finished 5 seconds later, he would have already been dead.
Now those battering rams...
These 3 rams, they know what they're going to do.
They're taking him to the ranch. They are taking him into the ranch. But we'll have a look over on the west side of the map because already DeMusliM has begun sieging down the town center of Dinky King, one of our Chinese players. We've seen the first Chinese player tap out, or not quite yet tap out, but I suspect it's almost imminent right now. He's going to be forced to go the way of the dodo, but there might be the chance that a second one taps out as well here, Don.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the China brothers. I believe in Snoopa.
Yes, well, Snoop has done a great job at this early stage of the game. We can actually see he's gone into 2 town centers now. He's got his Song Dynasty up, so he's creating villages like a madman. Decent pressure coming out
Muslim
from
is
him.
being idled. Sorry, but Muslim is being idled, by the way.
Oh,
He's got
yeah.
some knights in his base.
Yeah, so Dinky doing the right thing and sort of looking to clap back towards the English player. We can see that the single treb is still out for DeMusliM at this point. But it looks like that final landmark of Sort of is going to be going down very shortly. There's not a lot of units that remain for Sort of. And with that, Snooper is going to be claiming the first points. The first victim of this game, 2 points, going to be awarded over to Snooper for this kill. And with this, an elimination. Congratulations to the Australian. There goes Sort of, the first victim of today. Who is next, Don? Who is next?
I feel like Sort of... He's kind of playing as if he was you. Like, this is exactly what I expect. Like, you would be in this FFA tournament, you would get China, be so excited, and 15 minutes later, you're dead.
Well, it is quite a common strategy, fast castle into GG. It is something that I pioneered.
It's your favorite.
It is it is my favorite strategies. Yes, I famously used that in the first round of Genesis. We got ourselves a Wallalow in the middle of the map. That is going to be unsuccessful. Those knights are going to be able to clean it up. And I got to tell you, I feel like my ears were being invaded a little bit by that monk. He was very loud.
I'm worried for the Muslim. I think he's put himself in a dangerous spot being aggressive.
You think so?
Bros, yeah, Dinky King, I mean, is doing the right thing. Just skipping the White Castle. What's it called? White Tower.
Yeah,
He's going straight for the base.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move for him to do that. Obviously, playing up against the English, he's got the extra arrows to deal with, but you can see he's actually got +2 ranged armor as well. So he's very smart with the way that he's playing. Springald emplacement's actually coming through now on that outpost. But now it looks like we've got ourselves a bit of action down towards the south side. Don't forget about Casva. Don't forget about Lash, because they have got themselves into a little bit of trouble. We actually did have a keep drop that came down. We've largely ignored these guys because they've been so isolated from the rest of them. But now the village is going to get pulled down towards the south. The first ram probably going to be losing its life. Second ram may become the target of the rest of those villages. They're going to be able to jump inside that keep. And we've got action all over this map at this point in time. At the same time, it looks like... Yeah, go on.
Sorry. Yeah, this is just great. I'm so surprised people are playing so aggressive.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. I think it's a lot more of an open map here. You don't have a lot of forests that are blocking people off, and with that lake in the center, not as big as what it normally is. Raid coming in on Snooper up towards the north. Knights now chasing away. We've got action all over this map right now.
Meanwhile, Marine Lord just sitting on 121 vills.
Yeah, he's having a good time over there, isn't he? He's also going to Imperial. High Armory coming down for him. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4 landmarks, all pretty close to each other. He's got to make sure he leaves space for keeps, because when you're playing in the late game as the Rus, you don't have those stone walls. But now it looks like a bit of a cleanup. Unfortunately, Snooper going to be losing a fair few Chokunu here towards his base.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Marine Lord, he's in such a good position now. He's got 4 relics, Sacred Site, Fishing Boom, all the vills in the world, 500 bounty. This is like your wet dream with Rus.
Is he on 500 bounty already? Is he? We'll take a look. Yeah, 505 bounty, so he just hit that tier 3.
It's crazy.
He's going to be really happy with that. But now, Marine Lord, and this is what we talked about, this sort of mid-game timing, where the fact that he's able to go into 3 town centers, do a big fish boom, and have a look at the fishing boats that he's got out there right now. It is absolutely beautiful. Looks like something out of Sim City. And he's able to convert that into a huge amount of units that he's just able to put out and now take out these big late-game threats.
I think if I was in this game, I would just say to everyone, like, alright, stop what you're doing, we gotta kill Marine Lord. If we don't start focusing him now, we're just lost.
Yeah, well, I guess that's if you know about it, right? Because he's been tucked away in this cute little position over there. It really gives him such a great spot. I mean, now we see that Dinky King has managed to hold on, managed to survive in that western spot. He's looking to try and clean up the White Tower himself. He's actually got double trebuchets out in his own base now.
I'm not seeing them yet.
There's a couple of, I think they're clock tower trebuchets. Indeed they are. So they're going to be focusing down that white tower, but we can hear back in the base of Snooper, he's managed to clean up the majority of that raid. In fact, that raid has just made their way away. But Marine Lord now in the Imperial Age. We see a university coming down for him. He's just having a great time right now. 138 villages. Everything is going great for him.
Yeah, I think I was right at the start when I said he's gonna win. Like, it's looking really promising for him.
Well, there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news for Marine Lord is he's now captured... Well, I mean, that's the good news. The good news is that he's just captured all 3 sacred sites. The bad news is he's just put a big target on his back. But realistically, I don't think it's a super big target. How much... Do you think it's a genuine threat for a game-winning position here for Marine Lord?
Yeah, I think this is a risky play to just put this focus on yourself, but it's gonna open up the game a lot, so I'm curious what's gonna happen with it.
Yeah,
he's getting a lot of Vil kills in the meantime.
Yeah, he's taking out a lot of the Vils of Dinky King right now. We're actually here down to the south that Lash has just reached the castle age. It looks like a cleanup is going to be coming through here. A slow but steady cleanup, but a huge amount of villagers did go down. Down towards the south, we did hear the castle age was reached. A keep is going to be dropped down here from Caspar. He's going for another forward position here. He's looking very strong. Lash tried his best in the early stages of the game to go for a 2-town center feudal push. Did not work. Lash has now fallen back to a castle age position, but unfortunately for him, there is a keep drop that is going to be happening, and Caspar is going to be issuing it immediately.
Oh, that's always so painful, having keep in your base.
Yeah,
I think Lash is in big trouble now.
Especially because he just only got up to the castle age. So his response to this is going to be very minimal. And now we see that there's 31 villagers dropping this down. So the likelihood that you're actually able to survive this is very low. And I suspect we're going to have trebuchets coming out. Wallolo going to be happening in the base. DeMusliM just going to be trying its best to pick up a couple of units. Not going to be successful. There's just action going all on over this map right now. This is kind of crazy, Don. I wasn't expecting this much action.
I wasn't expecting it at all. When I looked yesterday, it seemed pretty like people were just booming away. But the trade route yesterday was insane, by the way, from the French player.
Oh yeah, more than
a trade route.
1,000 resources in the bank for each one of those traders. That was pretty damn crazy. But
this game is just everyone fighting everyone. It looks like.
Yeah.
Especially Marine Lord, the way he's using his army, he walks into a base, kills some Vils, and then he goes to the next person.
Yeah, and I think he's coming for DeMusliM.
I was gonna say, I think he's gonna pay a visit to his good friend, DeMusliM.
Well, he's gonna need more than the Abbey of Kings to save him from this attack. He does have the monastery out, so it looks like prayer might be the occasion. But down towards the south, we've still got plenty of a push happening. It looks like we're still yet to see any trebuchets come out, but a siege workshop is up. What's up?
Did you see what happened with his army? He saw Muslim's base. He's like, nah, you're my friend. I'll let you be. So I was right. They are playing together.
You think they're playing together? He just came over for a quick little visit?
Yeah, he just wanted to say hello to his buddy, and then he left.
He's actually running.
But he just comes.
He's coming in to snipe the trebs. Look at that. He's being very cheeky. He's making sure DeMusliM's okay. Look at that. Oh, okay. Well, I think that almost confirms we've got our first alliance here. An unlikely bunch. We've got DeMusliM, and we've got Marine Lord. We've got the short kid and the bald kid, and they have all become friends. It's great to see that they could put aside their differences and make their way towards that very, very happy position of teaming up together. But just remember,
they don't have any differences, mate. They're like practically in love with each other.
Yeah, is that what you reckon? But for anybody wondering,
have you seen Ringlord give how do you call a pet over Muslim's bald head?
That's true. That is true. Yes, I have seen that. Now, for anybody wondering, these guys are teaming up. Are they communicating on microphones? No. It is against the rules for them to do that. So the only way they can communicate is through the game. But that doesn't mean that they didn't make an agreement before the game. Okay, we can't limit them outside of the game. We can always say, don't talk during the game to each other unless it's in the in-game chat. But in the event that hold on, we got Dinky King's landmark just got destroyed. Oh, it was the Barbican. Never mind. But yeah, so basically they're not chatting to each other in the game unless it's through the in-game chat feature.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty worried because nobody contacted me to be their friends for the next match. So it's probably not a good sign for me.
Don, I'll be your friend. But yeah, well, my theory was that like people would just reach out to everybody and be like, "Hey, you want to team up?"
Well, nobody reached out to me, so I'm worried. That's probably not a good sign.
Well, I think we've got our first, how do you call it, runaway state over towards the east of the map. Dinky King has picked up a couple of his villages and he's begun building a new base. He's got a landmark over there, the Imperial Palace, as well as a couple of town centers that are now going down on those wood lines. This is all behind enemy lines, though. Marine Lord is aware. Marine Lord is over there, but it is a very vacant area, though.
I want to point out something important real quick because I'm pretty sure he's got these sacred sites for 5 minutes now. I think it was like around minute 20. So soon enough we'll start hearing the bells ring.
Wow, that's scary. We can actually check the sacred timer. Actually, it's a sacred tracker, and it just tells you that Marine Lord's got 3 out of 3. It doesn't actually tell you how long the sacred sites are held for. So unfortunately, yes, you are right.
And that's why I kept track of the time. I think it was around minute 20.
All right, well, we'll have to see how he looks to play it. Up towards the north, Snoop has also expanded out. But we do hear a landmark has gone down towards the south. It is Lash's landmark that has been killed by Casper. But Casper, for some reason, looks to be heading in the other direction. It might be that he's decided that it's more important here that he doesn't kill Lash, that he actually goes to take those sacred sites, because he was attempting to neutralize this sacred site on the south a little bit earlier, but was obviously taken out. Do you think he's bullying his units up towards that position instead?
I feel like Casper, he got attacked by Lash and he just slapped him away like an annoying fly, and now he goes back to the primary goal of focusing on these sacred sites.
Well, it looks like Marine Lord's putting down a keep on one of those sacred sites. There's plenty of spearmen here for Bra. Bra going to be turning his attention towards that keep. The villagers, however, probably going to have to move on to that sacred site. But now Marine Lord going to be jumping on in. The boiling oil going to be coming out and looking to try and bless this sacred ground.
He's off the side. He didn't stay on the side.
And now Marine Lord's going to be able to hold on to that position. He's able to clean this up. And now a second sacred site was getting challenged. It was just a scout towards the north. It gets blown up by a bombard. And
that bombard is blowing it up.
The bombard is an absolute chad. But Marine Lord looking really strong in this position. He's managing to hold all 3 sacred sites now for what? You got to say close to 6 minutes here.
I think it might be 7 actually. Yeah, I think we will. The first bell is at 3 minutes, right?
All right, well, Dinky King's lost another landmark. It looks like Bra has decided to turn his vengeance towards Dinky King. Both the main Barbican as well as the Imperial Academy have gone down. Bra has really become vengeful, and we now see the final landmark over on this western side for Dinky King actually going down. But remember, he has evacuated. He has moved everything over towards this eastern side.
Yeah, that eastern side was so open for so long. There's also a bunch of Snoopaville there, by the way, just towards the left.
Yeah, it looks like we've got 2 Chinese players both doing the same thing at the same time. Well, there's your gong coming in now. We've got 3 minutes until Sacred Victory. Marine Lord is looking to try and get an early win here. This is a very early attempt. I've never seen one this early before. And he's definitely painted a pretty big target on his back here. I came into this thinking there was no real way that he could actually hold this, but it seems to be like he's doing a decent job. The keep is going to be going down on the south side. That is not his keep. That is his enemy's keep, Casper's keep. And now the sacred site being neutralized all over the map. We've got plenty of units all over this map. Unfortunately, Marine Lord looks like these spears are going to be more than enough to clean this up, because there's also bombards on the backside. There is plenty of units, and now he's going to be able to jump in on top of that sacred site. Lash reaches the Imperial H, clean up down towards the south side as well. I suspect that Casper's going to be able to head towards that, and the sacred site dance is going to begin, but unfortunately looks like not enough units, and I think Marine Lord might get cleaned up. I don't think this sacred site victory is too much longer in charge. What do you reckon, Don?
No, he's done for. He doesn't know how to sacred site win. Like, this is my play.
You think he didn't wall enough? You think he didn't bring enough vills to the sacred site? What was his mistake?
Are you able to make walls in this game?
Yeah, of course you can.
Oh, no, I don't mean it for this tournament. I just mean that I never make them.
Oh, right. Well, the sacred site does get neutralized.
As soon as he had the multiple threats from Kasva and Bra, I don't think there was any way he's going to hold that.
Well, there we go. It has been finished. So there you go. Marine Lord unsuccessful with the Sacred Victory. Now, of course, he still remains in this game. In fact, looks very, very happy, very healthy. His score is significantly higher than the other players in the game. Now, keep in mind, these guys are playing with score. They can see each other and they can see their scores. But interestingly, we've got ourselves a little bit of mutual cooperation over towards this eastern side. We've got 3 people that have all put down interesting little expansions. We've got Lash that's come out with his College of Artillery. We've also got the Town Center from Snooper and the Town Center from Dinky King. Everybody working in harmony. The eastern Chinese states have aligned with the French.
Snooper has like 3 bases right now. He's also got the base up north.
Yeah, true. He's expanding like a madman. He's doing a great job of just sort of staying alive, and that's a really smart move for him here. But now Marine Lord going to be jumping in and going to be ruining his parade. Now, there's plenty of landmarks back in this base, but you can almost certainly say that this has been given up by Snooper.
Yeah, I think that base is done for, but he still has 2 left. So. Look at where he's making the clock tower. It's on the right.
Okay, I can't help but feel the Dinky King and Snooper have now definitely got some cooperation. We saw in one of the games yesterday that the Abbasid dynasty players had formed a an alliance, a non-aggression pact. I suspect we may have the same thing coming out from our Chinese players today. It's interesting how these ties seem to build on civilization lines. That it's like, hey, you're a China player, I'm a China player, let's be China players together. And then you've also got the Abbasid players from yesterday. So yeah, I mean, it's very curious to see.
Yeah, it's like, we know our people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it looks like down to the south, Caspar is trying his best to clean up Lash. Keep in mind, Caspar's still in age 3, but he's got plenty of trebuchets out, more than enough to take down the first keep. There's a couple of landmarks that are still alive. We've got the School of Cavalry, as well as the Guild Hall, with plenty of gold in it. And of course, that last hidden landmark over here towards the eastern side. Caspar now reaches the Imperial Age.
I really want to bring your attention to how the fishing boats are looking. Like, look how he spread them out. It's just beautiful.
Wow. That's artwork right there. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Marine Lord with some of the most beautiful fishing boat macro money can buy. Look at that. That is just... He's got one for every single... Like, everyone is friends right now. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. You know, I think about my brother. He works at McDonald's, and he told me something about pickles. He said pickles should be friends, not lovers. And I can't help but feel these fishing boats are friends and not lovers. Just the way that they group up here. Very, very limited. Very, very limited grouping. A lot of spacing.
It's funny, because when you told me that you were trying to go pro in this casting thing, I thought you were also going to end up working at McDonald's. But it actually is your brother.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Don. That cuts a little bit deep, but thank you. I will allow it. Down towards the south, Caspar continuing to put the hurt on for Lash. Unfortunately for Lash, he's got 2 landmarks remaining. Fortunately, he has hidden 1 landmark away, and that kind of puts him in a difficult spot because, well, the other players might know where that landmark is, and then that sort of means that, well, now he's in a difficult position. Let's just put it that way. It's not an enviable position.
For sure. That College of Artillery will be his last stand.
All right, well, it looks like Marine Lord going to be cleaning up Snooper towards the north. Keep in mind, Marine Lord has taken out quite a few landmarks down towards this main base. Now up towards the north, he's going to be able to clean up that Imperial Palace. But obviously, Snooper has expanded down towards that south side. I'm going to ride on board with Marine Lord and see how much he knows about that south expansion. And it looks like he might actually know quite a fair bit, or at least suspect some things. Because we do see that there's plenty of line of sight down towards that area, and he's actually got wooden fortresses that were going to be built down there just to continue expanding that out. But he does actually see Chinese villages down on that farm. DeMusliM is finally reaching the rest of the world in the Imperial Age. He is the last player to make it up to the Imperial Age, with the exception of Sordov, who was knocked out just shortly after reaching age 3.
And yeah, it's funny, the 2 China bases, I think this is basically, if you have a world map, it's somewhat of the similar spot. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean, Don.
When you're looking at the world map, it's also in the southeast. So it just looks like this is the China lands.
All right, there you go. You've heard it here first. Heard it here first. Our geography, our
You
resident...
have no clue what I'm saying.
I've got no clue what you're talking about, Don.
All right.
Well, the Chinese players are continuing cooperation, mutual cooperation down towards the south, but Marine Lord is just hunting. At this point, it looks like Marine Lord is treating this a little bit like an S-tier tournament and taking out all the players out early in this series, or in this game. But the question is whether he's going to choke when it comes to the final hurdle. That is the big question here. And now he looks to head towards the base of Bra. How many landmarks have we got for Bra here? We've got 1, 2, 3 landmarks for Bra. Where is that 4th landmark for him? That Palace of Swabia. It's up to the back. And Marine Lord's actually spotted it out. This could be bad for Bra.
Yeah, Bra's in trouble here.
All right, well,
he has all the landmarks together, right?
Yeah, he's got everything together. Marine Lord just having a field day right now. He is literally just out here just hunting. He's sitting up to 40,000 food. He is in a great position.
Yeah, I think Bra's gonna beat that.
Sacred Site in the middle has now been captured up by Bra. So preventing that sacred victory. Marine Lord's still holding over 2 of them, though. He's got plenty of reinforcements coming out, and he does actually get spotted out building this wooden fortress towards the south. Dinky King is going to spot him there, and now he gets a bit of a read on what's happening, and he sees that the 2 Chinese players are there together down towards this southern position. And I suspect we might actually see his attention turn towards that direction instead of over towards
the Vil trade.
The Vil trade?
Did you see that Vil trade? Yeah, the Vil trade. Like they're fighting Vils together now.
Yeah, I did see that a little bit earlier, but I'm not sure which one you're referring to, Don.
No, in the China bases, they're just all chasing each other.
A little bit of Benny Hill. But look at all the rest of the town centers that are coming up now. These China guys working hard together. You can see them moving around villages as well, sharing landmarks. Everybody's happy. If you were playing with the colors so that they're like all your enemies are the same color, you would think these 2 guys are the same player.
Stupa has been completely killed off aside from this base, so it must be a good friendship because it's only the clock tower left, right?
Yeah, so Snooper doesn't have too much left. If we take a look from his perspective, he's got double town center, but he's not in the Song Dynasty. He's actually in, it says Tang Dynasty. It's going to update to Yuan Dynasty. So he has built that clock tower, as well as, I think he had the Imperial Academy, or Imperial Palace up towards the north. Yeah, indeed he did. So yeah, he doesn't have a lot going for him. He's only sitting on 59 villages at the moment, so he's definitely going to need a miracle to get back into this game.
Yeah, I really like this alliance, though. It makes sense. They need each other to get back into it.
And it's a very powerful potential as well. Obviously, going up against Marine Lord, he's in a really decent spot. If these 2 guys can work together, maybe they will become a threat towards him. But down towards the south, it looks like Lash is somewhat stabilized. We can see that Casva is slowly but steadily working his magic as well over, and he can't find that last landmark. I think that's what's really hurting him right now, is Casper doesn't know where that last landmark is. We can see he's actually spread out a whole bunch of villages, and he's looking for it, but he's got no clue exactly where it is.
It would be funny if someone like Snoopa ends up getting that landmark and getting the 2 points.
Well, yeah, it's
hard work.
It's a definite possibility because when it comes down to it, it always comes down to that last hit. And we want to promote people being aggressive, but there's no guarantee that all the landmarks are going to be in that one space. So I think it's important before you attack somebody, you got to know where those landmarks are. Marine Lord now, despite having 50,000 resources in the bank, is still microing his horse archers with perfect precision.
Have you seen the eco behind it? He has so much res banked.
Is this for Marine Lord? Yeah, I think he's sitting on about 50k. Yeah, 50k resources right now. He's looking very, very healthy. Also looking to upgrade Spearmen and getting through 48 horsemen in the bank right now. So he's just funneling in units non-stop. We'll take a look from Bra's perspective because he's going to be trying to hold this. He's got a lot of gold in the bank right now, but unfortunately not a lot of population. He's down to 55 units, so losing a lot of villages here.
Yeah, I think he's gonna lose just from the war of attrition against Marine Lord.
Well, let's not forget about DeMusliM. He's down over towards that east or that western side. He's walled himself in, so he's looking pretty good. We'll ride on board with him and see how he's doing. Getting a whole bunch of upgrades. Not a whole lot of food in the bank, but a lot of production right now coming out for DeMusliM. Definitely setting himself up for the late game here.
Yeah, for sure. I like his spot as well. He's been saved by Marine Lord.
Yeah, he's been doing very, very well. These guys, despite being on opposite sides of the maps, have helped each other out. I mean, to be fair, Marine Lord's just completely taken over this game up towards the north side. We've got our 2 China players that are just becoming best friends. Like, this is the 2 best friends that any China player could have. Dinky King actually starting to look pretty good down here as well. He's on 192 population right now. So he's pretty damn good. He's got 162 villagers. Now, these guys can't donate resources to each other, but I tell you what, they definitely, they're definitely helping each other out quite a bit.
I really want to see a chop through towards the Lash's landmark. That would be hilarious if they just chop around the wall. Yeah,
that's a good point. They could do that and then look to take it out. Lash, keep in mind, all Lash's landmarks have been taken out. 1, 2, 3 landmarks have been taken out. Casper is continuing to look for that last landmark. He's got no clue where it is. I'm starting to think that you could even negotiate with people. Does anybody know where Lash's last landmark is? I will give you my allegiance. Something like that.
I think the problem is that if you write that, then people will, like, for example, Snooper will know, oh, I can get 2 points over here, and he will just take it.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly it. He would just pull villagers, go for a chop through, siege it down, and then that would be a good game. He would get the 2 points, but I guess until then, Lash just stays in the game and tries his best to hold on. Now, obviously, he can always resign if he does. Then the points would be awarded over to Casper. But until that actually happens, that stays up in the air. But now Marine Lord looking to push through. I hear the sound of bombards. Indeed, there is a bombard out for Marine Lord, which isn't a good thing for Bra, because Marine Lord is just funneling in units here. Bra is going to be sitting down on 74 population. I suspect he might be the next victim in this game.
Yeah, I think he's going to be dead soon, yeah.
And I think this is the consequence. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We haven't talked much about Casper yet, but he's actually... Like, despite I didn't really like his spawn, but he's really getting himself in a good spot as well.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, he's got a pretty bad spawn, but has managed to stabilize. The fact that he's got plenty of space now to expand down towards the south as well. We can hear them trading out. I'm gonna jump on board with Marine Lord as he continues to try and take down Bra. We can see that single bombard on the back is just going to be doing so much work here. If Bra's able to take out that bombard, he's going to be absolutely fine. But one of the things to note as well is that Dinky is actually massing up horsemen right now. He's got 21 of them out. I was almost tempted to say that they're fire lancers, but no, they are horsemen. Actually, he's got a huge amount of horsemen. This could be really bad for Marine Lord. Hold on. Marine Lord's base is open right now. Dinky King could potentially... Ooh, you know what? I was going to say that he could potentially snipe the landmarks of Marine Lord, but... There's core... I don't think that's going to happen, though.
I really hope to see some kind of transport ship play in this game. That would be great.
You think we could see some transport ship across the small pond?
Well, yeah. Like, imagine the 2 China players. They both decide to sail across the Red Sea.
Oh,
a visit to Marine Lords with some bombards.
Yeah, it could definitely be a possibility. My concern is just there's so many keeps. They've got boiling oil. A lot of these guys have got bombard emplacements on them as well. 3 of them have got bombard emplacements. But now Marine Lord going to become aware of that. We can see he's expanding out with keeps as well over towards this eastern side. Plenty of horsemen still in here. 116 elite horsemen for Dinky King.
By the way, Bra's emergency repaired his keep like 7 times by now. It just never dies.
All right, well...
Marine Lord's bringing all the bombards now.
Yeah, there's 5, 6... How many bombards? Yeah, 6 bombards coming up the rear. I don't think Bra's got much of a chance of surviving from here. He's got a single mangonel out. I don't know how effective that's going to be against all this cavalry, but we'll see how he looks to play it as those bombards continue to come through.
Oh, Snoopa's going for the chop through. He's going to go for the landmark.
You reckon that's what he's doing? Oh, it looks like he could indeed be doing that. Yeah, he's definitely going for it. Oh, and then the bombards come out as well. Snooper's got a bombard. He knows that could be the last landmark. But at the same time, Lash is going to repair his guild hall. So if Lash heals up that guild hall in time, he will be able to survive. but now it looks like those bombards are working down Bra. I suspect Bra is not going to be too long for this world. There are 2 landmarks that remain for him. He's going to be forced back briefly, Marine Lord is, but we'll head back over to this landmark. And all of the Fire Lancers now for Snooper are going to be focusing down this College of Artillery. At the same time, we've got repairs coming out.
To the guild hall.
Look at the guild hall. The guild hall will track the guild hall while it goes down on both sides. Close. 3,600. I think he's going to go down. I think he's going to get tapped out. Lash going to be our 6th, or rather our 7th place here. But no, he's fallen back. He's fallen back. The guild hall. It's going to get to 49 health. He gets back to 5,000 health.
What is Snooper doing?
What is Snooper doing? What?
He's managed to save the guild hall.
He saves the guild hall. He saves the guild hall.
Snooper has no clue.
And Lash stays in the game.
Clue what just happened. Snooper has no information about this. He has no clue that it was a matter of seconds.
It was literally seconds. And the fact that he pulled the extra villagers as well to help repair it up. And now you can see you've made Casper angry. You knew where that location was, and now Casper is angry. Casper is mad, and
look at this wall around the guild hall. It's not gonna do anything.
A little bit of a palisade around the guild hall. Oh, geez, that was so close. So for anybody who's wondering, just to explain a little bit, so your last landmark, if you've lost all of your landmarks, so let's say you've lost 3 out of 4, it's not until you repair it all the way up to full health that things revert back to normal and that landmark is restored. It must be repaired to 100% health. It can't be 99%, it can't be 98%. It needs to be 100, but we've got our run through coming. Look at all these elite horsemen, 137 horsemen now going to be running towards Marine Lord's base. Marine Lord might be in trouble here. I suspect he's going to be trying his best to defend this. We'll see exactly how he looks to play it as the units over here. We're looking to take out Bra, but now all of a sudden, they are going to be retargeting and slowly but steadily heading towards that high armory. Horsemen continue.
Marine Lord never roll this?
Marine Lord doesn't need walls. He doesn't. Where we're going, we don't need walls. First landmark under attack, it's that high armory. Second landmark, it's going to be that town center. It is going down, there's 9,100 health on this. At the same time, he's also attacking the Abbey of the Trinity. That's going to be 3 landmarks. That 4th landmark, the Golden Gate, is the last one standing. It looks like Marine Lord might be in trouble here. Dinky King has come from behind, and all of a sudden now going to be turning his attention towards the Golden Gate. I think Marine Lord might go out here.
He's gonna be dead. Yeah,
he's gonna be dead. He didn't wall the gap, and now all of a sudden Marine Lord gets tapped out. Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite has been knocked out of the game. Dinky King comes in, snipes the landmark, and says, "Good night, sweet prince."
Oh my god, would you have ever predicted Marine Lord going out the second person to go out like that?
But now we see Snooper's landmark has been destroyed as well by Casper. Casper is down here, and there's not a lot of landmarks left. This is an absolute bloodbath of a game.
Lash, in the meantime, just scoring points with his guild hall.
Keep the guild hall alive, and you will survive. That is the name of the game. But now those bombards continuing to move forward. Our Rus players this game have been incredibly strong, but amazingly here, Bra was quite literally on the edge. He was about to die. He had 2 landmarks left. The town center was down to 2,300 health. There were 6 bombards in his base, and he managed to survive.
Just put yourself in Bro's shoe for a moment. Like, the only thing you see all game is Marine Lord units strolling into your base. You see him on 18k score. And the next thing you know, you see Marine Lord eliminated. It's just like, what the fuck happened?
It's exactly like in Star Wars, where the drone mothership gets destroyed and all the droids turn off. It's exactly the same thing. It's like, what happened? What happened? We will never know. We will never know. But, I mean, at this point, Dinky King, how many landmarks has he got alive? Is this his last landmark? We'll take a look at the landmark tracker and see. Dinky King's actually got 2 landmarks left. Snooper on 2, Lash obviously on 1. But Dinky King and Snooper could be in trouble here as Casper looks to clean up points. He's going to be focusing down the Great Wall Gatehouse. There's a single landmark that is still alive on that northern side, the Imperial Palace, and he'll definitely be coming for that. But Casper looking very good. This is something that you pointed out a little bit earlier, Don.
But the horseman came home from the little adventure they had at Marine Lord's base.
Do you think he's going to be able to hold?
Maybe, yeah. Well, I think Dinky King might be dead, but Snooper did a smart play, and he's like, alright, we were Chinese brothers for a while, but I'm back in the north. And he doesn't have to worry about Marine Lord anymore, so I think Snooper's just gonna completely start over in the north now.
Take a look at Dinky King. Look what he's doing. Dinky and Snoop are both again starting, and they're taking Marine Lord's base. Gonna be dropping down the Spirit Way. Dinky King is the absolute cockroach of this game right now. It is the third time he's going to be picking everything up and dropping it down in a new base. He's going to be looking to take Marine Lord's base for himself, and Snoop are going to be here with him. But keep in mind, I think Snoop has got only one landmark that remains out on the field right now. We'll quickly check the tracker. Indeed, actually, Snoop has got 2 landmarks that remain for him. So we've got the Astronomical Clock Tower, and I don't...
Yeah, but the clock tower is about to be gone, and it's all the way in the north. He has the Imperial Palace, like he's rebuilding.
Oh, he's repaired it. He's come back up because Marine Lord died. So he manages to survive. Yeah. Once again, the cockroach lives on. Look at these Chinese cockroaches.
It's brilliant. I love the friendship they have going on. Like, we just played together all the way.
They were quite literally the 2 best friends that anyone could have. And now they begin rebuilding up towards the north. Dinky King with plenty of resources in the back. Look at that. They're both Australian. They're both playing China. These 2 guys, these guys are just absolute best friends right now.
In the massive Marine Lord base.
Yeah.
Looks so fun. Have you seen Dinky King picking up the relics from Marine Lord?
No, I haven't. Oh, but he could Wololo. Actually, there's not a lot left to Wololo, I don't think.
I don't think you're gonna Wololo. I think you're gonna get your position away. But he's picked up all the relics from the Abbey of the Trinity.
And look at the town centers now coming down for Dinky King at the top. He's got so many resources in the bank, he could afford to drop another 4 town centers if he wanted to. But we do see Dinky King's landmark does get destroyed. It's going to be that Imperial Palace. And with that, almost all of this position has been cleaned up finally. But one of the things to remember, obviously we've got Chinese, our 2 Australian players are cockroaching up a lot right now. But one thing to remember here is that they are going to be running out of landmarks eventually. That is a big factor in that they're not going to be able to drop down any more landmarks now. That is going to be it. They are up, like, I think this is Dinky King's final landmark that he can make. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was holding it until now so that he can keep it alive.
I'm just laughing about Lesh's position. Like, I think Katsva has looked for that landmark for 20 minutes. Then he finally left the base, and now that's where the only landmark is.
And now we actually see that Lash has retaken that position where the College of Artillery was, walled it up even further, and now he's got villagers behind that are looking to just keep it safe. So Lash...
Yeah, and the guy who knows about the landmark, which is Snoopa, he's not in this area anymore.
It's a super smart move, and we might even see Snooper look to retake his initial base.
Snooper has been all over the place.
We'll right on board with him and see exactly how he's doing. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. 69 population at the moment. Pagoda's coming up for Dinky King as well. Well, one person that we haven't really talked a lot about recently, it's DeMusliM. But he looks to begin sieging down the base of Bra. So Bra just being under attack non-stop this game. Now it's that town center that's already down. He's got Trebs on the backside that are just firing off towards it. Listen to how fast those hand cannoneers are attacking. That is wild that they attack that fast. They're firing like... What is the attack speed on that? Jeez Louise, 1.42. Damn.
Yeah, Network Castle is so good in the late game. I'm really surprised, by the way, that Marine Lord, DeMusliM, went for the Berkshire Palace instead of the...
Wait, really?
Whatever the Trebuchet one is called. Yeah, it's all the way in the west.
Very interesting. So he goes for that, and oh, look at the space that he's left there as well. You know what's going back there, don't you?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, very, very smart move from him there. So plenty of space for a wonder back there for anybody wondering exactly what that is for. All the space in front of it is just going to be designated to walls and all that other good stuff. But yeah, really interesting that he goes for that, the Berkshire Palace here. I guess it just adds that little bit of extra oomph. Obviously, the Wingard is a great landmark in 1v1, but I guess in free-for-all, the Berkshire, it's obviously got a great defensive capability, doesn't it?
Well, I think the landmark is so good anyway. Like, the practically free trebuchet is so good.
Well, it looks like...
Makes sense. He wants to wander there. So.
Yeah, it makes sense 100%. It looks like Casper has kind of fizzled out over on the eastern side of the map. He's not too sure exactly what he wants to do, and neither are his bombards. But we do see Snooper now putting down his... what could be the final landmark. Look at the landmark position that he's found. What is this position from Snooper? Look at this.
Casva has finally found the College of Artillery, by the way. Wait, where are you seeing the Snooper landmark?
Over on the east side of the map in the mountains. Look at it. Look at him go.
Wow. Wow, that's beautiful.
It is a crazy landmark position. And keep in mind, this is the Great Wall Gatehouse, which is not, you can't attack this with regular units. You need siege. So whether it's trebuchets or bombards, I don't even know if bombards can fire up here though.
Casva has finally found the College of Artillery. He's gonna kill it, and he's still not gonna have a kill. He feels like he's killed 4 players right now. He's killed China bases, he's killed Lash, and he still has not got a kill.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm just thinking, like, at this point, imagine if we gave a point for every landmark that you killed. Casva would be on, like, 75 points right now. He's just been killing landmarks all day.
Exactly, yeah.
But he hasn't killed anybody yet. We've seen Sort of go down earlier to Snooper. We saw Marine Lord go down to Dinky King.
Bro's about to die.
He's leaving the villages.
Les out-survived another one. Here goes Bro.
But now we actually see Casva might be under attack as the elite horsemen from Lash are moving towards that center. You mentioned earlier that Bra was under attack. Bra does indeed lose his life. His final landmark destroyed by the army of DeMusliM. So DeMusliM gonna win over 2 points. And then there were 5. But now we see that Lash is coming from the dead here and looking to take out Casva, a player with more than 3 times his score. We see it keep looking to get dropped down. All of the landmarks are here within this one little spot. He's got 1, 2, 3. In fact, where is that 4th landmark?
Isn't gonna work. No way.
You don't think it's gonna work? There's too many spears here?
Yeah, I mean, they got down 4 landmarks. I don't believe it. I'm surprised he managed to get an army together. Where did it come from?
Yeah, he's done a good job to get back into it. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to rebuild his base that much. But now we can see that Casva is going to be turning his attention towards the guild hall. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Casva's town center does go down, so it was a cute attempt from Lash. I'm going to ride on board with Lash and see where he is. Lash, unfortunately, has 4 villages remaining. Not a lot of resources in the bank. He's tried his best to scrounge together a bit of a force, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough here. And the spearmen are going to be able to clean it up. And with that, I suspect...
the guild hall...
Yeah, with that, it is almost certain that our next player knocked out is going to be Lash, and with that, there will only be 4 players remaining, 2 of which are cockroaches. So you've got two Australian cockroaches that are playing the Chinese. You've got 1 Englishman who's playing the English, and then you've got Casva, who is playing as the Rus. With Lash going out, though. The final landmark getting killed. And finally, Casva gets some points on the board. There they go. Lash's landmark has been destroyed. And with that, we enter the 58th minute, and 4 players remain.
Well, Lash done a good job getting 5th, I think. I felt like he was so dead for so long. Oh, and there's the Wonder.
There's the Wonder. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got our Wonder online. Get your timers out. Get your trackers out, because these guys now have a task. If there's ever been a time for everybody to get together and work towards taking down somebody, it is now. Look at Casva immediately moving out all of his forces towards that position.
I think DeMusliM might be too early with this. If you look at this resource bank, it's not that crazy. I think you need to be able to reinforce your army a lot.
All right, let's take a look at his position. Yeah, that's a really good point. Interesting. Where are all of his resources? I feel like typically English at this point have got like 70,000 food.
Yeah, exactly. His eco isn't that crazy, so I'm not sure this is going to work out for him, but we'll see. It depends what the cockroaches are going to do.
Yeah, well, I think we can pretty much count the cockroaches out for the moment. They're stuck up under the refrigerator for now. I want to have a look at Casva's position, because Casva's got 30,000 resources in the bank, so more than enough to continue reinforcing. And he's very close by as well. That's the big factor. He's very close to DeMusliM. So it means that his reinforcements are going to be quicker. His attack's going to be more often. There's going to be more waves coming in from him. But I think you might be right. If there's anybody that's going to be able to take this out, it's going to be Casva. And he continues to look very strong in this game. But now it looks like the forces are finally going to be exposed to each other. Horsemen together with the spears going to be running in through these walls. The network of castles on the backside going to be firing out plenty of extra archer arrows, extra hand cannon shots. The trebuchets also looking to try and dish out a little bit of AoE damage, and those spearmen are making their way through that army.
I just want to officially predict that I know I already predicted Marine Lord to win, so don't, I'm not really credible, but I think one of the cockroaches is gonna win. I think these guys are gonna fight it out for 10 minutes, and the China players, they could just come in and like, oh, you guys have no resources left.
Well, I
think it's gonna go that way.
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. In fact, you can see from, look at the farms that they've got up towards the north. We literally have this isn't just a non-aggression pact. I feel like this is a trade treaty right here. We have got these 2 Chinese players towards the north with just infinite amounts of villagers on farms. Granaries are down. Everything is beautiful for these guys right now.
Yeah, I like the position, and then Kesva and DeMusliM are just going to be fighting each other for the next 10 minutes.
This is a smart move from the Australians, though, to sort of stick it out until the end. These guys are very experienced when it comes to free-for-all as well, so they know what to do. They know how to play the politics of it. They know exactly what they need to do, but it looks like Bombard's going to be going down here in this little gap. Looks like, unfortunately, the Horsemen are going to get stuck, just like Stepbro does, and all go down, unfortunately, for them. Hold on a minute. I just realized we have the potential that there could be a landmark snipe. Oh, but then that last landmark is over towards the corner with the Cathedral of St. Thomas.
Despite Kesva and Muslim fighting so hard with each other, they're also mining together as well.
Wait, really?
Oh, and then Snupa comes into mine as well. Yeah, in the middle. They're gonna mine at the same time.
Look at them all. All right, well, it turns out that our Australian friends are not the only ones with non-aggression pacts. There's also a non-aggression pact in the middle. But, I mean, at this point in time, we'll check in with Marine Law, or with DeMusliM, rather, and see how his bank is doing. It's not looking the healthiest right now, Don. Take a look at that. He's got less than 2,000 food in the bank.
That's why I'm worried for him. I'm so surprised. Like you said before, I'm used to English players having like 70k food right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure where all of his money went, or where all of the food... I guess he's only had 43 villagers on food this entire time. He's only got 48 farms. And normally you'd expect to see like 90 to 100 farms in these free-for-alls.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very, very curious. Well, this fight is going to continue to unfold now in the center of the base. We can hear that there's a whole bunch of fortification coming in over on that western flank. And he's got a fair bit of position in between that Cathedral of St. Thomas and the rest of the walls on the outside. A lot of bombard towers in there as well. But Casper doing a good job to push through. He's also got Streltsy out now as well. And continuing coming through, but just remember, he's the only person that's challenging this at this point in time. He's probably asking for help from the Australians, but the Australians obviously just chilling out for the moment. But hold on a minute. Look at Snooper. Snooper's decided it's time to make an army. Do we dare potentially see Grenadiers coming out for Snooper? It is going to be Grenadiers that we have got for our first Australian. He is starting to mass them up quite significantly as well.
Yeah, I think I'm really feeling like the China players are gonna win.
I guess.
I don't know who of them is gonna win between the two of them, but
well, they've still got landmarks all over this map. Take a look at the west side of the map, or the east side of the map. There are landmarks dotted around everywhere for China. Dinky King actually repairing his landmarks. This is kind of crazy, and Snooper doing the same thing, repairing his. He's got his main starting town center back up.
yeah, I love how these guys have played it, but especially this Great Wall that looks so beautiful in the mountains.
Yeah, I do like the Great Wall with the deer sitting up there right next to it. It is just... This is the true story of the cockroaches right here. The Australian cockroaches have done a great job. But DeMusliM now going to have another 9 minutes left on his Wonder Victory timer. The problem is, he's managed to hold off Casper for up until this point. And Casper's slowly but steadily looking to replace his army. The problem is, there are 2 Chinese players towards the north that have now come online. It's taken some time for them to get there. They've fought and they've survived and they've gone from corner and corner in the map. But finally now they are online and they have built a brotherhood. They have built a brotherhood on this northern position of the map, back where they started. Very interesting that they've gone from over on this west side of the map down to the south and then over to the east and then finally back up to the north where they began. They've literally had, between them, probably close to 8 or 9 bases.
It's crazy. Especially Dinky King has been all over the place.
All right, well, this army now for Casper, it's looking pretty good. The only issue is there doesn't seem to be any bombards for him. In fact, that's exactly right. He's only got 11. He's got 64 horsemen, 22 spears, a streltsy, and 11 horse archers. No bombards at all for him. And I think that's a consequence of just not having any gold. And so it means he can't actually break through the stone walls from DeMusliM, which means that DeMusliM can focus his attention on other areas.
Can I bring your attention to the Muslims' drill count?
Oh no. Oh no, don't tell me. Oh, that is very nice. That is very nice, Don. He's looking great, though. I mean, at this point in the game, he's got 131 military pop, a lot of which are the trebuchets. 69 villagers in the bank, though. It's going to be very, very handy for him to have that amount. It is a great amount of villagers to have a very nice amount.
He's got 14 trebuchets.
I feel like that's enough.
He needs to protect himself, and then you make 14 trebuchets.
And well, I think that's the smart thing about having the trebuchets, though, is because by having the trebuchets, you're able to take out the bombards. You can leave them behind the walls, and whenever those bombards try and focus down the walls, the trebuchets focus down the bombards. But now it looks like up towards the north. Oh, we've got a fair bit of a mass moving through. Longbow is going to be teeing off towards the units on the backside. We've also got the horsemen going to be making their way through. A whole bunch of horsemen here for Casper going to be looking to try and get behind enemy lines. Not going to find too much success as Dinky King also up on this north base. Now moving back around to the next side, we see that the bombards are finally going to be able to break through over towards the east. And with that, there's the potential for these horsemen to run through and rain upon the parade of DeMusliM.
Oh, he's 6 minutes to go. I don't think he's gonna be able to do it. And Dinky King is saying, "Hey, do you remember me, mate? You've killed me before, but here, I'm back." Like he's attacking him from the exact same spot where he's been killed before.
I'm back with a vengeance, mate. But those trebuchets gonna have to turn around. You can hear the bells just ringing like crazy right now. The English player knows he's under attack from those bells, but Casper's army here, I suspect it's not gonna be too long for this world. There is not a lot of horsemen in this mix at all. Optimistic, let's just put it that way. Horsemen now also going to be running in from the opposite side. So at the same time, we've got a little bit of a double horseman split in here. It looks like he's going to have to fall back. Dinky is away from here. Grenadier mass is going to be looking pretty healthy for him, but Grenadier is moving in on the eastern side as well. The counter at the moment for the Wonder is 5 minutes and 45 seconds. We can see that a bit of a run by is coming now. Casper going to be trying his best to get up here and get a bit more scouting information. He's going to see all the outposts coming down. DeMusliM looking to hold on in this position. We see all the bombard cannons coming through. Emplacements out the wazoo. And he still looks to hold on. He's got plenty of production back on this side. He's looking healthy. I know that you talked about the potential that he doesn't actually do it, but I'm starting to think he might. I'm starting to believe, Don.
You're starting to believe? Yeah, I still don't believe, but he's getting closer. 5 minutes.
Well, keep in mind, sacred sites are being captured behind this. We see Casper actually looking to take it. He's also cutting off some of the reinforcements from the China player, which is almost, you know, it's a little bit scary. You probably want to be working together to take down DeMusliM at this point. Now, I guess the next question is, in the event that DeMuslim's landmark does get killed, or Wonder gets killed, is there anybody else that's in a position to drop a Wonder at this point? Because we've got Snooper, who's nowhere near it. We've got... Who else have we got in the game? We've got Dinky King, nowhere near it either. The last player, it's going to be Casper. He's nowhere near it either. He's got nothing in the bank. So if there's any way for someone to win with a Wonder right now, it is going to be DeMusliM. That is going to be the only way for that to actually happen. But those traps firing off towards those units. Some big AoE coming out there.
If they manage to take the Muslim down, then the China brothers will just kill Casper as well. And after that, I have no clue how the people support the debate out, but they will sort it out together.
Well, we will witness it unfolding because DeMusliM, he's looking very good right now. We can hear that he's under attack from multiple angles, though those bombards are moving through, but sprinkled emplacements are focusing down the bombards that are in here. You can hear the reinforcements coming out. He's still sitting on 200 population, managing to keep everything afloat. He's still got 51 villagers in the bank that are just going to be building up all those outposts on the backside. We can see they're slowly but steadily getting through their fortifications as well as their emplacements. And the trebuchet's looking very strong.
How is he managing to keep his army alive? Like, he doesn't have the rest to reproduce them, but he still has his army.
He's doing a very good job, honestly. He's looking really good at this point. The trebs are the big key here because they're going to be able to take down those bombards And now moving in from the north side, we've also got Casper that's coming in from the south. A lot of Trebs down here, and we do see landmarks are getting taken out. If there's anybody who's ever been all in right now, it is going to be DeMusliM. That's 2 landmarks that have been taken down. The third landmark is also down. It's going to be that white tower. That leaves a single remaining landmark for DeMusliM, and he's found a great little choke point in here to defend against Dinky King. He's got 147 population at the moment. He's trying to trade out with some of these units on the backside, but still managing to take it down. And we've got 3 minutes until a wonder victory comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 minutes to go before DeMusliM could potentially win this game.
Oh my god, and we need more bombards. Where are all the bombards? Snooper has some bombards in the middle, but he needs to get towards the west.
More trebuchets also coming in for Caspar. He's decided that trebuchets are going to be the choice here. Can't afford the more expensive, the more beautiful bombards, and it's going to be quite a way before he can actually get through there. You can see that there's plenty of range going down those hills, but he's going to have to fall back away from this position. The consequence of not having enough reinforcements. DeMusliM now down to 90 population. He's managed to hold on this position, but he's lost a lot of units. At the same time, towards the south, we see Caspar may be able to break through this wall.
I want to point out that they don't have to kill the Wonder. If they kill the Berkshire Palace, then Muslim is out.
That is a great point. They can just focus down the Berkshire Palace right here. Berkshire Palace now going to be looking to get targeted down. We see trebuchets turning their attention, and it is in the Berkshire Palace that's getting focused down. DeMusliM might get sniped out right here. 2 minutes to go until the victory comes through for him. We'll switch off his position into that of Dinky King. All the trebuchets do get sniped down completely. DeMusliM manages to hold for this point in time. He's trying his best to hold on to defend. We'll get a nice little screenshot. Look at that beautiful position there for him. He's just holding on for dear life. The defense of DeMusliM. The DeMusliM defense is happening, but those bombards are moving in. Now things are starting to get serious.
Look at Snooper's cannons. Snooper's got a lot of cannons.
Oh, he does too. Snooper's got a huge amount of cannons on this south side. He's going to have to make his way through quickly. I think we've got less than 2 minutes to go, Don, before this happens. You can see that right now, there is not a lot of units that are left for DeMusliM. He's on 32 population, of which 26 are military. Only 4 are villagers, and I suspect they're probably going to be where I don't even know where those villagers are. I got no clue.
It's all about these. It's all about these cannons. These cannons are the only seats in the area. They have to do it.
1 minute until wonder victory, ladies and gentlemen. There is 1 minute to go. The bombards begin firing down upon that wall, and once they break through, all hell can break loose because those horsemen can finally make it through, but they immediately get eaten alive by the bombard cannons.
40 seconds.
Grenadiers on the backside also coming through. Things not looking good right now for DeMusliM. Snooper going to be coming through. Blast the next segment of the wall. The trebuchets make their way towards the back, and we can see all the grenadiers flooding through. Less than 60 seconds to go, Don. Is there any way DeMusliM holds this?
Oh my god, it's going to be so close. 25 seconds.
We'll have a look at the wonder tracker, and you can see DeMuslim's now getting fired down upon the Berkshire Palace. The cannon's going to be moving in 20 seconds. Berkshire Palace gets almost one shot, and now the second reload drills comes through. DeMusliM gets wiped out. Less than 10 seconds to go.
Oh my god, I had the wonder tracker open. It was 10 seconds to go.
All right. Well, it was a little bit close. A little bit close, but I feel like it was never really in doubt, right? Right, guys? Holy shit. And with that, Snooper takes over 2 points for getting that last landmark snipe, and we do see that Dinky is still committing to killing that wonder. He says, yeah, you in particular, you get to die. Some intense fights right there as the defense of DeMusliM is finalized, unfortunately with his death, and he taps out as the 5th player in this game.
I love the way Casper instantly retreats to his base like, oh shit, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah.
I'm next on the menu.
Yeah, you are.
I think he knows what's up.
He knows exactly what's up because we've got 2 Chinese players towards the north who have spawned in on the best civilizations in free-for-all and have managed to cockroach their way around this map. And I think the question is, how do they possibly determine, where do we go from here? Because you've got horsemen, elite horsemen, you've got grenadiers, you've got bombards, and then you've got the palisade walls of Caspar. Like, look at Caspar. He's gone for the Spaskaya Tower, and he's got a single fortified palisade wall around it. Like, yeah, this will hold. This will hold 100%. That's not going to hold, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not going to hold, though.
Wait, that's crazy as well, by the way, that he went for that landmark.
Yeah, well, Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm curious as to what the decision making was there. I guess he just gets an extra keep, right? It's got a bit of extra health on it as well. Interestingly, he didn't go for Court Architects, though.
Core Architects?
Court Architects, not Core Architects. So it gives you an extra 30% health. Actually, Snooper hasn't got it either. Very curious. It gives the buildings a bit of extra health, so it means that you've got a little bit of a chance to save them maybe in those clutch situations. I'm pretty sure that DeMusliM went for it. Yeah, DeMusliM went for it.
I wonder how this Chinese allegiance is going to play out, because if they kill Casper now, like, how do they decide the winner?
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually just begin fighting it out. And hold on, we've got trade coming through now as well. Players looking to begin trading out. Snooper actually doing some corner trading. Yeah, but that's a great question, because we've gotten to this point in the game where all of a sudden the Chinese players have come online. They've managed to save this game with less than 10 seconds remaining. The Cathedral of St. Thomas almost won the game right there for DeMusliM. Incredibly close.
Yeah, if Snooper didn't realize that he could just focus the landmark, and I think if he went for the Wonder, he was going to be too slow. It was that close.
Yeah.
That was wild.
100%. And by the same token, if DeMusliM had put that Berkshire Palace right at the back, then he would have been fine. If he put it where, right next to the Cathedral of St. Thomas, I think he would have been okay.
This game has had everything.
It really has, hasn't it?
Fighting all the time, and then Ringlord was so good, and he went out the second person to go out. The Wonder was so close. The life surviving for that long. It's been a really special game.
You're going to have a lot to live up to, Don, because for anybody who's watching this on YouTube, Don's going to be up in the next game. He's joined us here for a special little cast. But he's going to be a busy boy, because we have got another game coming up right after this. But now it looks like Caspar has decided that he is going to be heading towards that north side, looking to do a bit of a counterattack. But at the same time, he's under pressure down towards his base as the army of Dinky King makes its way through the base. And we have got action all over this map right now, because Snooper is also under attack. We can hear him slowly but steadily losing out those outposts all across the map.
The funniest part is that Casper is, he just walked by that stone Great Wall gatehouse, and he has no clue. Like, he's hoping to go for a landmark snipe on someone.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, well, and that's just it. With the Great Wall gatehouse, you have to kill it with siege. You cannot, you're going to have to march up a bombard, you're going to have to march up a trebuchet. You're going to need to do something, because you can't kill it with just conventional units. We got action all over this map right now. You can hear the alarms just going off in all corners. Caspar, we'll jump on board with him and see exactly how he's doing, because he is just raiding like a madman right now. He's under attack on this front side. Grenadiers continue pushing through. Going to be providing out some decent AoE here against these horsemen as they continue coming through. Is there any way that Caspar holds this?
I think he's in trouble, because I think Snoopa is going to help out as well. But I want to ask you a question. So we're an hour and 20 minutes into this game with 3 players alive. How much gold do you think they have combined?
I'm going to go with less than... I'll go 1,300 gold.
Yeah, it's something like that. Nobody has any resources. Like, Dinky King is sitting on 1,000 resources total. Escalating is on 8,000 resources total, and Snoopa is on 10,000 resources. Like, nobody has anything. It
has just been a battle of attrition throughout this game. It has been incredible. And... we've seen people move up to 170 villages. We've seen people with 100... What is that red little thing that's going on after Snooper's units? Is it the grenades? I'm not sure. But we can see these guys are actually double teaming against Caspar. And again, this comes down to the whole concept of, when it comes to these games, you need to be focusing on these players that do form alliances. When you've got 2 Australian players, it's highly likely that they will form an alliance. So you need to do your best to take them out. But by the same token, if you've got someone close to you, then it becomes a balance. Who do I take out? Do I take out the Australian guys? Do I take out the guy who spawns next to me? Or maybe I should convince that guy who spawned next to me to help me take out the Australian guys, because they're the big threat here. They got double China. But obviously it wasn't the case here. They did get focused in the early game, but eventually they cockroached down towards this south side, over towards the east, and then finally back up towards the north. And then they returned to their true homes in the mountains on the north side, where
I'm hearing everything you're saying, but I still think I'm just gonna ram rush my neighbor.
Well, Don, I respect that. I respect your position. You are known to do some ram rushes. I will say that much. But we've got horsemen in the base from Casper looking to siege down town centers, but I think at this point it's just such a difficult thing. Like we've obviously got the two Australian players just coming straight for the throat of Casper, but I feel like the question is, where do we go from there? In fact, we should probably double check where those landmarks are. Actually, it's the Spasskaya Tower, isn't it? So we've got one, then we've got the second town center, which is here, and then the third town center, which is destroyed, the Abbey of the Trinity. So the fourth one is the Spasskaya Tower, so all of these landmarks could be going down very shortly.
Yeah, and the Golden Gate and the TC are right next to each other. I think since it's a 2v1, I don't think Casper has any chance.
Yeah, a little bit tough for Casper in this position, but a consequence of that allegiance not being identified a little bit sooner. They've worked together this entire time. No one really worked it out. Now we hear
Casper has tried to kill them multiple times.
You know what? You're right, Don. It was difficult for them, though. But now those bombards actually going to get taken out. Casper extends his life for a little bit longer. We'll ride on board with him and see how he's doing. He's got less than 1,000 resources in the bank of everything, with the exception of wood, which he's just made a sufficient amount of. But now we can see that Dinky is going to be pushing in over on that left side. There's barely any resources left on this map. You can see all the gold in the middle. Remember how there was so much gold that spawned here in the middle? It is all completely gone. Everything has been drained from this map.
So now it's a matter of who's going to get the kill on the Golden Gate, because he's going to get the 2 points.
Players now looking to turn their attention towards that Golden Gate. We can see Snooper doesn't have a lot in the area. He's got a couple of spearmen. These guys are hardened, so that's how you know they're ready for battle. But now Dinky King begins to focus. He's got 2 bombards here. You can see that the horsemen have got their fire lances out, and now turning their attention towards the Golden Gate. Looks like first bombard's going to go down. The second bombard's going to be going down shortly after it, and Casper looks to keep himself alive a little bit longer. But you can't help but feel it's only a matter of time until things go south for him. The Spasskaya Tower's dead. Oh, veteran spearman for Snooper. Snooper going for a bit of a snipe right here. Villagers underneath the Golden Gate. You can see these guys, they're pushing through to Casper. Still yet to fight each other like we would expect for the last hit on that. But I suspect these Australians are going to be very happy with this outcome. First and second, both very respectable places here. Now those Grenadiers going to be able to move in, look to take out those Trebuchets, doing a great job. Keep in mind the boiling oil is here. Could look to dish out some significant damage underneath this keep. Golden Gate still getting repaired up. Villagers going to get focused down underneath. Bombard firing down on the backside. It looks like Snooper might just be leaving here and saying, you know what, Casper? You're on your own, mate. Dinky King, he's going to deal with you. And with that, I think...
I really wonder what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that's the question, right? Like, where do we go from here? Do they just boom forever? Do they just go to 200 villages each? Is that where we go from here?
They just live happily after.
Golden Gate might be going down. Casper just... It's burning right now. If no one gets the last hit, how does it even work? Is he giving over the kill to Snooper right now? What is going on? Get him, Snoop. Get him, Snooper. Look at him. They're playing with their food right now. And now that all of the spears are going to be getting their elite upgrade, running in with their torches. Look at the 2 best friends that anyone could ever have right now. He gives over the kill. He says, go for it, Snoop Dogg. It's all yours, baby. And indeed, he turns his attention towards that Golden Gate and looks to pick up the extra 2 points for eliminating Casper. It is going to be our 3rd place finisher, Casper, who gets knocked out by Snooper. You can see the Dinky King did come back in at the end. He said, hey, come back here. And now they turn towards each other and look to take it out. We've got bombards focusing on bombards. Villagers yet to focus down on the villagers, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big villager pool. And now the question is, where do we go from here, Don?
I have no clue. It would be so hilarious if the Vills just start punching each other in the north.
And we see it.
See that happen.
Look at the outposts that are coming down. Now the alliance is done. It is happening, ladies and gentlemen. The alliance of the Australians, the Australian alliance, is finally over. And we've got ourselves some outposts coming down.
I thought this game, they would just live happily ever after. And this game was still going on in 2030, you know.
Both players made 14,000 farms. And they farmed them with their villagers, and everybody lived happily ever after. That's essentially what happened here.
That would have been great, yeah. Just the random towers being slammed down. All of a sudden there's Hortman on the rice fields.
So let's talk a little bit about landmarks, because at this point landmarks become very relevant. Snooper's managed to get himself up to 4, Dinky with 5. So the question is, are players going to be looking to snipe those landmarks? And I do suspect that will be the case. So we've got the 2 starting landmarks for Snooper in his main base. He's got the Imperial Academy as well as that town center. The Barbican, it doesn't look like it's been repaired up just yet for him. And
I want to point out something.
Yeah.
Sorry that I interrupt you, but if you go to Dinky King's point of view, you can see that he doesn't know about the landmark in the mountains.
Yeah, you're right. He's got no clue where that is. And we could be in for a little bit of a long one. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I wouldn't be surprised if you fast forward to 3 minutes before the end just to see what happens. But I guess from here, this is where we find out. But we do actually have a sacred site approaching. Snooper has taken control of 3 sacred sites. Right now, when it comes to score, Dinky's ahead by about 3,500. We see that message coming up. Neutralize a sacred site. And Dinky, I mean, he's got plenty of units over this map right now. He's got villages absolutely everywhere.
Well, whoever predicted China to win, they're gonna score some points.
Yeah, that's a good point. We were running a prediction on Twitch. Will China win this game? Well, the answer is definitely yes. The question is going to be who wins it. Is it going to be Dinky King? Is it going to be Snooper? They're the only 2 remaining players. They've been best friends ever since, and I suspect you'll never see these guys manage to pull off a friendship like this ever again. They will become a very top focus for all of these players. They're going to be watching this and paying great attention to this friendship, this alliance of Australians.
I think Snoopa's doing the right thing. Well, they're both... Oh, just Snoopa. Snoopa's going for fire lenses, which I think are great in this situation. I feel like if his landmark doesn't get found, and he could just win by sniping all the landmarks, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Really curious.
Well, we can take a look at the landmarks. So Dinky King's Great Wall Gatehouse has been killed. So he's got the Imperial Palace, which is down on that east side. But that's the only landmark. All the rest of the landmarks are going to be up towards that northern position. And we see that Dinky's actually cleaning up a fair bit of Snooper's base at this point. So both of these players looking to trade out pretty effectively against each other at this point. But I think it really just comes down to that Great Wall Gatehouse. It's going to be so difficult for Snooper to lose off that. Snooper's landmark now being destroyed in the north. We see that it's 5 against 3. Snooper's got those 2 remaining landmarks over towards the west, as well as the Great Wall Gatehouse. He's got...
I had the exact same thing happen where I was like, oh, I want to check Snoopa's fill count, and again it was 69.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Well, his resources aren't looking that healthy. He's got 69 villages, or 63 villages, 109 military at this point in time. But you can see that they're slowly working through it. Well, I'm going to turn on the perspective of Snooper and just see what he sees for a moment. Because right now, there's just havoc all over his minimap. He's under attack, all different angles. In fact, there is a random Streltsy down towards the south that is just attacking a lumber camp. I didn't even realize this was possible. Are you seeing this?
I think this is, by the way... Oh, wow, yeah. I think Marine Lord's fishing boats are also still working, so...
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, interesting. That they continue doing what they loved. He died doing what he loved, killing a house. But, yes, look at the mass now beginning to build up for Snooper as well. So, I guess another thing to note is that there's not a lot of units over on this east side of the map, so it's going to take time before he actually gets over there. He's obviously not thinking too much about landmarks, but there are attack sounds just going off absolutely everywhere for Snooper.
Yeah, it looks like Dinky King has the better army. Oh, they're having a big fight in the middle now.
Yeah, Palace Guard versus Palace Guard, the oldest combination in the book. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2 Chinese Australians have now made their way towards the center of the map and are looking to try and take out each other before heading their own separate ways.
This would be an interesting time to start thinking about getting some water laws done on, like, Marine Lord's army, for example.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You could take control of that hugely. But, yeah, wow. I'm just in awe at how terrible this minimap looks right now. It is crazy to me. Like, it is just havoc everywhere. Dinky's actually still yet to rebuild everything, but he has restored that main town center that he's got over on the west side, as well as that Imperial Academy. His Barbican is also back up as well. So that's 3 landmarks for him. But now that battle is unfolding in the middle. All the palace guards together with spears working their way through. Grenadiers on the backside are really going to be what make the difference here. And you can see the amount of damage they're putting out onto this infantry. The bombard manages to come out. In fact, there's 2 bombards back here. Ideally, you'd want them to focus down those grenadiers on the backside just because of how much damage. And the nest of bees is going to be coming off. 3 nest of bees on the backside for Snooper. The 2 Chinese players finally going to be turning their attention towards each other. It is a battle that has been raging on throughout this game. You could feel it between the tension between these 2 guys. But now Snooper actually looking very good. Hold on a minute. All those grenadiers getting overwhelmed completely, Don.
Yeah, and meanwhile Snooper is taking down the farming eco in the top. Well, he's not killing the vills, he's deciding to destroy the farms.
Yeah, it's such an interesting way for this game to play out. And yeah, he's going straight for the granaries. Look at that. Taking them out, using the fire lances to great effect up here. He's got the 3 sacred sites as well going for him, which is giving him that extra little bit of gold income here. He's only got 31 villagers in the bank. He's just pumping out units non-stop, trying to defend this position. When it comes to the sacred sites, he's actually walling in the sacred sites as well. He's got outposts up down towards the south side. And he manages to hold on, but now those grenadiers, look at the damage that's come down on those forces of Snooper. And Snooper finally entering into that beast mode. Plenty of nest of bees out here dishing out damage. I suspect Dinky's going to need... Yeah, go for it.
I want to point out, like, this is Snooper's army. Like, this is it. He has 5 vills working. Like, if his army dies, then he loses. And if he manages to defend the sacred sites, like, he needs his army to stay alive, basically.
That's a really good point. Dinky King has got 90 villagers. Compare that over to Snooper, and he's got barely anything. 31 villagers. But it's those nest of bees. Look how much damage they're doing. 7 nest of bees out for him. 3 bombards as well. Sacred site being neutralized over towards that eastern side. We can see villagers actually moving out towards it. I've got no idea what those villagers are doing. They're looking to actually siege down the market there. A handful of palace guards going to be moving over towards that east. And the emplacements on the outposts are going to be able to take out the villagers before it is exhausted. All those villagers are going to be going down, and that sacred site is not going to be neutralized. Not today. Snooper is looking good. I forgot to mention
Snooper's traders. He also has traders, by the way. I forgot to mention those.
Oh, good point. Yeah, Snooper's sitting on traders. He's on 1,300 gold a minute right now. That's a decent amount of gold, considering the circumstances.
He's walled in the left sacred side with a courtesy wall like he's a Delhi player.
He's cleaned up the horsemen that were there as well. Snooper looking really good. Snooper might actually win this. He's sitting on 28 villagers right now, 132 military, but he's able to hold these sacred sites. Now, we don't actually have a sacred counter. We have a tracker, which can tell you how many sacred sites Snooper's got, and I can confirm it is indeed 3. But we don't know how long is left on these sacred sites. Hold on. Is that sacred site being contested by... Is that sacred site being contested by the... No, never mind. I thought it was the elite knights were contesting it. I'm like, hold on a minute.
I really wonder if we're gonna see a Wololo at some point.
It doesn't seem like it. They don't seem to be too active with their units, with their monks. But Snooper looking really good.
Especially that army in Marine Lord's base could be a really big pickup.
Yeah, there was quite a bit over there. But over on the eastern flank now, we've got a little bit of a push coming through from Dinky. He's bringing a fair amount of palace guards here, but at the same time, the emplacements, the cannon emplacements on these outposts are going to be providing that supporting cover. And now the bombards on the front line. No, all the bombards are going to be eaten up alive. But the nest of bees managed to cover for them. Fortunately, the bombards do get out alive. There's so many nest of bees here. He's up to 11 nest of bees. We do see that there was a monk in there as well. I did see a monk in there. So, Don, maybe you've got your dream here of a potential Wololo coming out as well. Sacred site over on the east side, still getting challenged quite heavily. We can see that Snooper's down to 144 population at this point in time. He's looking to hold on. That sacred site really getting heavily contested. And now the nest of bees firing off towards that position. There's just plenty of action here as these players try their best. And now all of the units have been cleaned up down on this south side.
But the west one is also... They're also fighting over the west one, by the way. He just cleaned up some horsemen there.
Plenty of units, and now a little bit of a push coming through. Back on the center. And good game gets called. Snooper is going to be our victor here. Dinky King taps out. He says, I cannot take your sacred sites. Good game. Well played. And our victor is crowned for game number 3. It was indeed China.
Wow. I would have never expected him to win from that starting position. That's crazy. What a game.
How did he come back from that? It was ludicrous. I can't.
Look at the villager graph. That doesn't look like someone who won the game.
It really doesn't, because he didn't win it with like a wonder. I guess he was winning with a sacred site victory, but what an impressive game right there from Snooper. Congratulations go over to Snooper. Obviously, big congratulations to Dinky King, the two Australians doing very well there. And I guess that just goes to show, like, let this be a message to everybody out there watching, all those players. Watch out for these Australians, okay? Now you've seen it. Now you know that there is a potential for an alliance to form between any Australians that are in the same game. You better watch out for it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Don, thank you very much for joining me in this cast. It's been an absolute pleasure with you, mate.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And now it's my turn to play the game.
Yeah, well, you got some big shoes to fill, because I tell you what, Snooper did a great job there. If you can be half as entertaining as him, you'll be very entertaining.
I think I will be as entertaining as Sort of. That's probably my expectation.
That's you setting the bar high here. Unfortunately for Sort of, he did have an early tap out in that one. But we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for joining us. And what an absolute beautiful game.